How did I make it all these years? How did I make it this far? Through the valleys and over the hills, I know it had to be God. How did I make it through the storm? How did I make it through the rain? If you want to know just how I got here, it's so easy to explain. It was God's grace,
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 God's grace.
I made it
This far by the grace of God.
It was God's grace,
God's grace,
God's grace,
God's
it was
grace,
God's grace,
God's grace,
amazing grace.
God's grace. I made it this far by the grace of God.
Lord, I thank you how you brought me through the night. Lord, you kept me, you never left me. You stood by my side. There were so many times I came so close. Oh, and death tried to take me. So the reason I'm here is not hard for me to see. In fact, it's so easy for me to explain. It was God's grace,
God's grace,
God's grace,
God's grace,
God's grace,
God's grace,
amazing grace.
God's grace.
I made
it this far by the grace of God.
I remember the times when I strayed away. Even though I knew the word, I still didn't obey. But God's mercy and grace stayed with me and brought me